William. How's everyone doing today? How's my friends Jam and Dominic? That's the most important thing.
Good, sir. Good, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. How's everyone?
Not bad. Not bad. Jam's just been to download, so everyone jealous because, like, you know, the amount we've been missing live concerts. Had a great time. We had a little chat beforehand. So
yeah, very good.
Jam's
recommend
first
going.
experience.
Do anything you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going to be. I think they're going to be testing to make sure it's all safe and that. So hopefully it will go through, and next year we'll have download again. I'm sure we will, but we've got more important things to talk about today, haven't we? We were in 1988. All killer, no filler, total frustration. So, yeah, for me, a little bit more difficult than the previous years, 86 being my ultimate year. And then 87 not being too bad. I'm starting, for myself, I'm starting to see a little, you know, I'm getting a little bit difficult with my list, which we'll get onto in a minute. But anyone who doesn't understand the actual rules of the game, of all killer, no filler, total frustration, Jam's rules, obviously, evil person that he is. What we have to do, we get our own track list up, try and make the songs basically as good as we can from the rules we get. We can't repeat an album, so one track off of each album, and also the track listing has to match the original track listing of the release. There you go. That's the rules. So how did you guys find it, just quickly before we go?
Yeah, for me, I've got... Sorry, go on, Tom.
I was just going to say, these are the years where I'm leaving off so many great albums. 88, 89, 90, 91. I mean, those are all just chock full of releases for me. So, yeah, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
So, I'm exactly the same. These are the years for me. I've got 2 or 3 albums here, and my favourite albums. I left them off on purpose just because we spoke about them probably a bit too much, and I'll mention them at the end. But I could have picked any track from literally 2 or 3 albums here, and it's just been easy. 99, well, easy. I mean, too many tracks. 89, 90, as Tom says, is going to be really, really hard. I've a struggle in 89 already. So
I mean, still a strong year for me. But I was saying to Jam at the beginning, Dom, that before you came on, it just depends how old you are, when you got into metal, because there'll be people that would, you know, 2001 would be their ultimate year. Do you know what I mean? It just depends who you are.
Of course.
Yeah. You know, so.
But, you know, this is, I would have been 22. Just, you know, having the time of my life, going out and getting drunk all the time and going to gigs 24/7. And, you know, so these were really important rock years for me.
Okay, I remember Dominic going first last time because he was trying to get one up on Jam, wasn't he? So Jam's first. So,
right. I'm odd here.
So I mean, this is going to be fun actually, because you only got back on one track. I think you matched on last time. So Jam's probably going to go for it again and just fuck you up. You know that.
Maybe. Let's see. It'd be hilarious. We're at 4 is our record for one sitting. So. Yeah, let's go for 5. Yeah,
I don't think we will today.
Okay, track 1, Jam. What you got?
Okay, I'm going to go for my first track. Is one of them tracks that you've always liked. I've always liked it, but you perhaps not heard it for a while, and then it comes on the radio like 4 or 5 years ago, and you suddenly remember it and going, "Oh, fucking hell, I love that track." You know what I mean? It's one of those tracks. It's from a band that we mentioned 2 years ago, and they won't be mentioned again because they haven't released very much, but we all like them, and that is Cinderella. From Long Cold Winter, and it's Bad Seamstress Blues stroke Falling Apart at the Seams. Brilliant opening track. But it's a weird one because it starts off with acoustic guitar, which you wouldn't normally expect after the last Cinderella album, or any album really. But then it goes into the more electric, and I'm not a musician, but he does miss a note, doesn't he? But it does sound weird at one point in it. I don't know what quite he does, but it sort of adds to the
there's like a little skip in the rhythm or something. Yeah, I know.
It's a bit strange, but then they rip into the song, and it's just a classic. Falling Apart at the Seams is absolutely brilliant, and what way to open an album. Not my favorite, probably Cinderella album, as we probably all agree. Too bluesy for me, but this song is definitely outstanding, and there's a few on here I won't mention them, obviously. But there's some good songs in there, and a great one to open the track listing with.
Cool. What you got there? Well, Cinderella for me, just quickly, that album, yeah, I didn't. The one beforehand was the favourite album for me. Night Songs was much better for me. but it was just must be just the bluesy part of it. And they carried that on as well, I think, didn't they, into the next album? And
Heartbreak Station, Heartbreak, something like that. Heartbreak.
Yeah. What you got then, Dom?
I've got my favorite cover version of all time. All time. Never get sick of it. I think it's just so brilliant and ingenious. Whoever came up with this is just praise be. It's Saxon with Ride Like the Wind.
Oh, yeah.
From
great song.
Destiny. I just think how they took like a soft rock or a yacht rock, it would be called now. You know, just a mellow song and just rocked it up. And he just sounds great on it. And I just love it. I never get sick of it. I think it's great. I think it kind of divides their fan base a bit, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
it's weird because John released a version of this, but because Saxon done it
last night actually, because
yeah,
but it's not nearly as good. Sorry.
No, I mean I like it, but because Saxon already did it as well and done that heavier version, John was like, because he's done some great cover versions of songs that are not metal.
Exactly. Yeah.
But obviously he wasn't the first one.
That's when he's just kind of following in their footsteps, really.
A little bit, yeah.
With the arrangement and stuff. So, but Saxon Ride Like the Wind never gets.
I like this song as well. I think Saxon are a lot heavier now, aren't they? And this album I don't think is particularly heavy at all. And this song isn't that heavy, I don't think, but it's a very, very good song and definitely was in contender for me. I like it.
Excellent. There you go.
Great. I actually thought you was looking at Dom's face. I thought you was going to have the same track then.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought.
Oh no, he couldn't because he went first.
Yeah.
oh, you mean you're looking at my face?
Yeah, I thought you was going. Yeah, when I was hearing Jam Speak, I keep looking at you to make sure.
I'm falling apart at the seams. Well,
yeah.
No,
good. Right. Okay. I'm going for, and this actual album is one of my favorite albums of all time, and it would probably make definitely the favorite album of that year if it wasn't for one other album. But it's Crimson Glory from the brilliant album and underrated album Transcendence, which is just an amazing metal, little bit of progressive album. And it's the opening track, Lady of Winter. Absolutely superb, really intricate guitaring, a brilliant breakdown.
Guitaring, yes.
Oh yeah, guitaring. You know what? I was thinking about the vocalist who's sadly passed away, because I mentioned him, I think, in our 1980 whatever list. I think that if his career and the Crimson Glory career went on further and he'd done a load of albums, I think he would have surpassed most vocalists, even Jeff Tate, which he's compared to because of his vocal style. Yeah. But this guy, man, he's got so much emotion. It's like he pours everything into every word. He's brilliant. Midnight, the vocalist, obviously his real name, like I said before.
Yeah.
But just the heights he can get, but the tone of his voice, and like I said, the actual emotion he puts in, he's a brilliant vocalist. But the band is just, that Transcendence album, he sounds so fresh. Doesn't matter if you listen to it a million times. It's brilliant, and probably too late now. Looked back on as one of the classic metal albums of all time, you know. Yeah. But forgotten about a little bit, which is a shame sometimes. But there you go, Lady of Winter.
I knew this was a big important album for you. I'm kind of surprised that's opening, because it's one of those albums, I guess, for you that you could probably pick any track. So I'm surprised you didn't save it for like one of those numbers down the line that you could find anything else.
Yeah, I mean, not many tracks on the album itself. I think it's 9 or 10. So yeah, I definitely could have. If it was a 12-track album and it was all as good as all the other tracks, I could have just whipped any song off of it. But
that's all right.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Crimson Glory, Lady of Winter from Transcendence. Okay, cool. Track 2. What you got, Jen?
Track 2. Well, I'm going to go for one of the early singles I ever got, and it was from, I think I must have watched it on was the chart show on a Saturday morning. They used to have the rock chart every 4 weeks or something like that. I probably saw it.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I bought it, and it was David Lee Roth, Just Like Paradise, from Skyscraper. So I love the song. It was the first thing I ever heard by David Lee Roth. And if I'm honest, I was only 14. I did not know he was in Van Halen. I just thought he was a bloke.
Yeah, well, you were 14.
I didn't know.
You was 14. There you go.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, but I was actually going to ask you if you knew his history or if you just saw it and thought it's a great song. Yeah,
it's a great song. I mean, I probably at the time thought he's a bit old to become a new rock star. He was knocking on a bit then. You know what I mean? But
the old hair was starting to go a little.
Yeah,
was this the time he was starting to? Yeah, and he was starting to do. At first, he did his like a fringe a bit weird, and then
yeah, it was the opposite of a comb over. It was like a comb front.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all I'd heard of Van Halen was Van Hagar. When It's Love and all this sort of stuff. So I didn't. I mean, obviously, I found out later. Probably read through the Kerrang and found out pretty soon afterwards. But at the time, I just thought it was as a bloke. Anyway, it's a great song. Steve Vai does a great guitar in it again, and I thought I'd get him in there because he's not got. I didn't put anything for me to smile on, so I've got to get some David Lee Roth in there, and I enjoy this song still to this day. Even if it's overplayed, probably slightly, I still love this song.
I don't get sick of it either. I think it's great. I always sing along to it if it comes on.
Yeah, I love it. I do love that song, and I love the album, but I think it was a big dip for me from the first album. It sort of seemed to have lost its energy a little bit on the album. I mean, it was he hit you fucking full blast on that first Eat 'Em and Smile album. And even Vai's guitar work, even though it was great, it just wasn't quite as outstanding on this album for me.
It was a bit more sporadic. It wasn't. It was more about tone and atmosphere rather than just histronics, Yeah, but I agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of the album, but I do think that is an excellent single.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, what you got, Dom?
Okay, number 2 is a band from Boston who have some connections to Cinderella. This is Brittany Fox.
Oh yeah.
Long Way to Love. 2 of the members used to be in Cinderella. There's a video on YouTube of them doing an ad for a local pizza place. It's great if you've never seen it. It's really cool. But it's before obviously Cinderella were signed, and 2 of the guys and Brittany are in this Cinderella commercial, so you can see him alongside Tom. But yeah, this is such a terrific single. I was sold from the first time I saw the video. Just pomp and glory and all its big hair and the synchronized guitaring, synchronized guitaring. I loved it. So, but this is one of their stronger singles. I know a lot of people prefer Girl School, or that's the one they think of. But this one actually came first. This was the debut single. And I just love it.
I think
there you go. Brittany Fox from self-titled debut album.
I think the singer took them, I don't know, AC/DC stroke Cinderella vocals to the extreme a little bit, didn't he? I mean, it was just like proper like gruff. His voice. I remember him though. I remember Girls' School is the song I remember mainly.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Okay. My second track is from a band that weren't around long. Brought out 2 proper albums. Then they brought another album out with sort of remixes and stuff from the past and stuff like that. A band called Prophet. I've mentioned it before on the channel. Not on All Killer though, no, I don't think. But they brought an album called Cycle of the Moon, which was actually outstanding. It's maybe a little bit late for this sort of band, late 80s. But they were a little bit progressive at times as well, but mainly one of those melodic hard rock bands. And the song's called Can't Hide Love, which is just a fantastic sing-along, catchy song. I love the song. This is another, it was really front-loaded with great songs. And then back end of it, like many albums, veered off a little bit. But the first 5 or 6 songs were just amazing on this album. Some of the best. Definitely from that period. If it was all like that, it would have been probably one of my favorite albums of all time. But as it is, it's just a great album. But
Yeah.
my favourite song actually off the album is "Can't Hide Love" from Cyclone.
Okay, so you got your best one on there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are they a faith-based band?
No.
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 I just thought Prophet. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think their hit, if you like, their MTV hit was "Sound of a Breaking Heart." It was called. So
I'm not familiar with them whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it was just 88. It's a little bit getting a bit of that time when that sort of music on MTV was not played. You know, starting to get the heavier stuff. I suppose a little bit before it went all together.
Yeah.
But there you go. Okay, that's my track 2. What you got, Jan, for track 3?
Track 3, I'm not going to pretend I'm one of the biggest fans of this artist stroke band. It's the only album I've got, in fact, but it is Yngwie J. Malmsteen, Rising Force, and the album Odyssey. So it's the only one I've got, but it's got the great Jolene Turner on vocals, of course. So the song is Heaven Tonight, which is one of the big ones, of course. Yeah. Two
definitely
great
my favorite thing Yngwie's ever done.
You what? Sorry, Dom?
Definitely my favorite thing that Malmsteen's ever done.
Yeah, no, it's the only one I've heard, so I couldn't comment on that. But certainly a very good album, great song, still very commercial, but still to this day, it's another one of them great songs from this year. When it comes on, I still don't mind it. Well, I play it quite often. In fact, I love it. But yeah, Jolene Turner doing some great vocals.
His vocals are outstanding on that song. They're just so smooth and soulful, man. It's weird, isn't it? Malmsteen still managed to do his mental guitar playing and showing off on that song, but it still kept all the melody that a song.
Yeah, and the structure and all that. Yeah.
But, I love the video as well. And when I saw the video, I saw it again not long ago, and it doesn't look like a proper live performance. It looked like they went out to do a video only. You know, they pulled a few people in and just showed off. But apparently it was an actual show.
Oh, right.
But so if you actually watch the video, so I've heard, because unless someone's bullshitting, because in the comments on YouTube, someone was saying I was there that night and all that. They might not. They might not have been, but it looks like it's a staged video because there's so much going on, so much heroics. Fucking Malmsteen's got his guitar on the floor, fucking playing it like that.
I remember that.
Chopping it up.
but I'm like you guys with him. I'm not into him at all. But that song in particular is a great song.
Yeah. He actually had a chorus for once.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though he had one of the greatest singers, Jeff Scott Soto, in the early years, the first 2 albums I think are him. It was still more about the. It seemed like the songs were just an excuse for him to play until he could solo, rather than the other way around.
It's all about songwriting, mate, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Just ask Eddie Van Halen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so number 3 is my favorite song from this band. They are very well known, especially on this channel. This is Revolution Calling from Operation Mindcrime.
Oh yeah.
This is the one that always just does it for me. I just love it. Back to front. Of course, it's a great album. One of the best concept albums of all time. Sounds great. Their breakthrough, obviously, deservedly so. But Revolution Calling is the track for me. I love it.
And it's got such a streetwise cool vibe to that song. It's very cool.
And I love that. I think it's the second chorus where it stops. It's like Revolution Calling, Revolution Calling.
Oh yeah.
Where it stops and it's just the vocal. Oh man, just kills me every time. So there you go, Queensryche. And the well-known
not just one of the best concept albums, maybe
one of the best albums. Yeah.
One of the best albums of all time. If you actually, I don't know, if you break it down, in my opinion, obviously, in lots of people's opinions, but amazing how that story came together and was so catchy at the same time. People make concept albums, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's just about the story, but the songs ain't there. That's just a perfect balance.
That's what makes it stand out. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. It's me, isn't it?
Cheers.
Yep.
Right, track 3. I've actually got a. Going to get a little album here. I know.
I'm waiting for you to put that darn hat on someday.
I've only got
With
3
the
albums.
horns.
I've only got 3 albums. This is a Christian-based band.
Yeah, Joshua.
And I got this album a couple of weeks ago. It's good. You like it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Original.
So, yes, original as well. So, I mean, this goes for about anything from a tenner to about 50 quid on eBay. So I picked it up for about 8 quid, I think. But this was the second album from this band, and they had Rob Rock on vocals on this one. So
Different singer then, okay.
different singer than the first one. And of course, an amazing guitarist in Joshua Pariah. I think that's how you pronounce it. But this is also, let alone being, it's sort of known by a lot of fans, even if they're not Christian fans, basically in the melodic hard rock, communities, known as one of the best albums ever. Obviously didn't sell a lot because it's one of those sort of albums, but I think it's one of them that's gained notoriety a lot of albums have over the years. Back to Front, brilliant album, and the song is called Only Yesterday, track 3, Only Yesterday. It's just, this is another one I could have just I actually left this album until last, didn't choose anything off it because I knew it'd be easy. So
Cool.
a great song. Rob Rock is one brilliant vocalist as well. Got a different sound to his voice as well than a lot of people. It's him, a lot of character in his voice. So
right. In this particular band, do you prefer him to the original singer?
I don't actually.
That's ironic.
I mean, but I haven't heard a lot of that. I've heard a lot of Rob Rock. The original singer was that one we spoke about last time. The guy who turned into became an
evangelist.
Evangelist. Yeah. What's his name? You probably remember it, won't you?
Is that Jeff Fenholt?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay. From Black Sabbath.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if I prefer his voice. I prefer his voice over this style of music. I think Rob Rock is.
Okay.
He's some of his solo stuff. He's doing enough bordering on thrash metal. So he really does some heavy stuff. So I think it suits that more. So I think in this style of the band Joshua, I probably preferred
Fenholt wins.
Fenholt, yeah. Okay, track 4 then, guys. What you got?
Yeah, track 4. I think going to female vocals. I don't know if we've had some already. Have you had Girls' School or Heart from Dom, maybe? Possibly.
I think Heart was in an honorable. Oh, I don't remember.
I think I remember. I thought I remember Girls' School somewhere.
Yeah, I thought you said Girls' School maybe. But anyway, go for female vocals. It could be the first one, and we're going for Lita Ford's debut album. Oh, was it a debut album? No, third album apparently. Third album.
Yeah.
And it's I haven't got the album to be honest. It's just one of these singles again, and it's "Kiss Me Deadly" from the Lita album. It's the only song I know probably by her. Might have heard a couple afterwards. Couldn't name you one, but I just love this song. It's a bit like the Def Leppard High and Dry song, isn't it? It's all about going out on a Saturday night, and it's
didn't get song. Laid. I got in a fight.
Yeah, it doesn't quite sound the same when it's a woman singing that, though, does it?
You're just being sexist. We're all equal, mate. We're all equal.
Oh,
we can all get laid, can't we? No matter if
I know, but it doesn't have the same appeal when she's singing it. But it's good song. Saturday night song.
See, this is going to sound really bad. I've got a real lack of liking for female vocalists in rock and metal. Not because they're female. I just don't get on with it at all. It's just me. I just can't. No matter what band.
The same as well. I mean, I haven't had any. I mean, there's very few that I think are believable and that are really strong.
I mean, there's so many. There's so many female vocalists now.
Have you not heard Hailstorm? She's absolutely brilliant.
Watched her the other day. I watched her on there was some download festival highlights the other day, and I thought, yeah, she's got a good voice. It was brilliant, actually. But there's something about women in metal that I just doesn't click with me. There you go. And there's so many female vocalists now. It's just
there is, yeah.
I mean, it's just constant. Frontiers have got so many, and You know, you got it all started with those symphonic sort of Amy Lee,
Nightwish and all them.
Yeah, and I think Amy Lee started a lot of that sort of sound off. And people carried on with it, but I've never ever. It's just not clicked with me whatsoever. In fact, as soon as a female vocalist comes on, and the first note that comes out, off. There you go.
I'm actually that I can't believe I'm going to admit this on video, but I'm the exact the same way. I've always been. I always have been. Just for one reason or another. I mean, there's a few. I really like Pat Benatar. She's not metal, she's hard rock.
And to tell you the truth, you're like me. I'm a bit like that. I think when it's a bit softer, heart, I quite like the heart stuff. I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it. And I'm talking the glam sort of period for heart, in the 80s.
Right.
I like some of those songs. I like some Pat Benatar songs. But, as soon as it starts, there's a crunchy guitar and it's a bit heavier and a woman sings. I'm like, no. And I love women. So it's nothing, I'm not being sexist. You're definitely equal, better than us, actually. All right, all you women out there.
Lots of pretty women.
Yeah. All those one people, that watch it who are female. I like, nothing against you guys. I think you're brilliant, but it just doesn't click with me.
Well, that's all right. I'll carry the flag for all the female singers. I'll have a few in here, so that's all right.
You're ticking all the boxes at the moment.
There you go.
Jam.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Yeah, he's going to have tons of comments now. Yeah, somebody stand up for the women.
Yeah.
Probably not, because all the comments are from males. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, what you got then, Dom?
I've got already spoke about the album Long Cold Winter. This is The Last Mile, which is my favorite track off the album. And to be honest, I think it's my favorite album of theirs. I know you guys. Oh, there it is. I know you guys talk a lot about how it got bluesy and stuff, but I thought it really suited his vocals, and it wasn't that extreme enough of a change for me where I didn't even really notice it. I don't think at the time. I was like, just thought it was a great album, and saw them on this tour. Well, I saw them support somebody, I forget. But then I saw them headline on this tour as their first arena headline. And when they did Don't Know What You Got, he came down on there was a piano in the rafters, and he came down the piano, slowly came down to the stage. And I think it was actually snowing as well. It was like, but yeah, Last Mile is always my favorite. I love that riff so much. Goes down as one of my favorites of theirs.
And there's a lot of love for this band now, all across Facebook and all the pages, the social media pages. A lot of love for Cinderella, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know when you get these people that put the 5 albums up, what's your favourite? And they put 5, and there's a Cinderella one in there. More often than not, the Cinderella one is the one that gets the votes.
I will say something about Cinderella, and this goes for Tesla and a few other bands as well. When people say, oh, they were unfairly, put into the glam rock. Well, you know what? That makes it sound like all those other bands were trash. And I'm not even going to come close to saying that, because, they are. So, oh, they're more classic rock, they're more hard rock. Well, yeah, they were. But I mean, have you seen what Cinderella looked like the first album?
I was going to say,
glam rock.
I was going to say that album cover, that first one.
I'll go get it.
And I personally love it. I love when there's a bit showmanship and stuff. I mean, I grew up on Kiss and Alice Cooper and Queen and all them, so I actually like that. When a band dresses down and it's a bit. Well, I guess that's why I hated grunge so much. It's just because they're all miserable and they wore flannel shirts, It's like,
you can't call it grunge, by the way. Jam's here, so stop it. All
right. Sorry?
You're not allowed to call
it grunge. But...
is he on if there's no such thing as grunge?
I just don't like it being slated off as much as it was. That was all. I just like a lot of it. I just don't think it gets some fair rap. That's all. It's still called grunge. I mean, there's no other term for it. It's just not all one sound, is it? That's what I'm saying. It's different sorts of bands just lumped into one thing, not a sound of music, is it?
I mean, they did have, a couple things in common. They're all miserable. And
they're all miserable. Yeah, that's one
yeah,
thing.
they're all miserable. They all kind of sing in a lower register. You know, your Eddie Vedders and your Alice in Chains, you know, so they all kind of sang in that lower register, and you know, they dressed like shit.
They did. They all looked like they were laying in the gutter, but there you go. Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, Cinderella. I love that.
Cool. This video is going to be about 4 hours long.
But, right, okay. I'm probably going to choose a track that I reckon Jam will have one of these later on, for sure. Definitely. Unless he just doesn't want to mention it because he's mentioned it a lot. But it's Metallica and One.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so off And Justice for All. I'm hoping I had a bit of a pause there from Jam. I was thinking, I hope that's track 4.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah, it's a track 4. Yeah, good.
I'm surprised you went for it. That's all, because it's overplayed. It's played quite a lot. I'm just surprised you went for that.
Not really from me, mate, because this.
Okay.
Because I think I've said before, when this album came out, big disappointment for me. Big disappointment from the Master of Puppets album. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, where's all the melody? Where's all that crushing bass? You know, the bass going through it and then crushing guitars and the guitars backed up from that bass, which made the guitars even heavier. And I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't listen to it in no way as much as I did Master of Puppets. But in later years, of course I have. And One is probably one of the standout tracks, one of the ones that got more of the melody, you know, more of the epic feel that they had. Well, obviously, Cliff Burton apparently gave them that epic songwriting capabilities, you know, on those Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, which was sort of lost on this album, you know, very much so. There wasn't as much melody on it. But in later years, it's become a very, very good album, you know, and probably I'll put it after those two, you know, after those two albums I've just spoken about. But One is just some mental guitaring as well. Some really great guitaring. Bit of an epic song. Really great video and all, you know, and that was one of the ones that's played on MTV a lot, but a bit of a creepy video, shit you up a bit, which was good.
It was their first video as well, wasn't it? First video they ever did.
Yeah. It's a very disturbing video and a great track. One from And Justice for All. It's my track 4. Okay. Track 5, guys.
Well, I'm going to my favourite Aussie album, No Rest for the Wicked.
Oh.
The first one with Zakk Wylde, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
This album is really good. I mean, I liked Ultimate Sin. This one is a lot heavier for me. And Zakk Wylde's obviously guitaring. I was probably the one I grew up with, if you like. Zakk Wylde. I loved Randy Rose, but that was posthumously. I had a tribute first, actually. I haven't said that, but I really love this album. I could have picked any song off this, I think. And there was loads of songs I wanted to have, but I've gone with the classic Bloodbath in Paradise. It's a brilliant song. It opens up with a haunting like jingle and sort of a voiceover thing, and then it goes into the riff. I mean, it's all about Manson family. It's all about horror. It's not horror, but you know, true horror, I guess you want to call it. And it's absolutely fantastic song. About 5 minutes long. Great chorus, great guitaring, great singing. I mean, I like Ozzy's voice personally. I know he's not as massive a bigger fan, but I love Ozzy, and Don will appreciate Ozzy. I'm sure. Would be surprised if you haven't got anything off it here yourself. But
well, it was tough for me. I really wanted to put Crazy Babies on my list, but just couldn't find the room for it. But
you know what?
I do think that album is a bit underappreciated.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
You know what album that is underappreciated that I think was Ozzy's maybe his best performance, and I know we'll get onto this in later years, but an album that I thought his vocals were so strong was Osmosis. I thought he sang brilliantly on that album. It is Osmosis, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's really like power.
So I've got Perry Mason on it.
Perry Mason on that one. Yeah, it's got that on it. I thought that was a great album. It's really, if you look at any ranking of Ozzy albums, it always comes down the bottom. But for some reason, I loved it, that album. I thought it was great, one of his best. But apart from the one you just mentioned, one that came before that,
Ultimate Sin.
I just love the Ultimate Sin. It's just brilliant. But anyway, just going off the track a bit there. But cool. Osmosis, brilliant. Love it. Probably the only person that loves it, but there you go.
You'll need that for later years.
I will, definitely. I definitely will. Yeah. Okay. Don, what you got?
Okay, number 5. Yeah. Number 5.
Yeah.
One of my favorite debut albums of all time. Well, I'm gonna be saying that a lot in the next coming years. There's so many new bands,
yeah,
and so much great stuff. But this is Bullet Boys. They got a lot of flack for being Van Halen clones at the time, especially the singer. He had the blonde hair, and he kind of moved like him on stage and stuff, but we're in the age of Van Hagar, so please be a Van Halen clone band. I'm fine with that. Because they're not doing it, so come on, let's get this done. Saw them quite a few times. They're always supporting somebody at some arena somewhere. So this is another cover, actually, which is wild. But this is called For the Love of Money, which is an old OJ's R&B song from the 70s, but again, kind of a really brilliant choice, and they really rock it up quite a bit. I love it. There's quite a few songs I could have picked off this album, but just the way the tracks, fell. We got For the Love of Money, which was the second single off the album, so there's a video and everything for it. But yeah, what a great album, produced by Ted Templeman, of course. To get that Van Halen sound. There you go. Bullet Boys' first album.
Well, you still got Steel Panther carrying on the Van Halen legacy, ain't you?
Yeah.
So, ain't you, Dom?
I think my screen's frozen.
Anyway. Right, they're fun anyway. They're fun to see live. Yeah. Catch them live, man. You'll love them. Anyway.
Bullet Boys or?
No, yeah, Bullet Boys, yeah. Anyway, okay, my track 5. I think this might, even though they're one of my favourite bands and they appear a lot on the show in general, probably the most out of anyone. Who do you reckon that is? Who do I talk about? Who do I have the most shows about?
Queensryche.
Stryper.
There you go, Stryper. So.
Oh, Stryper. Oh, okay.
Probably one of a bit of a disappointment in the albums. Actually, production was absolutely. Michael Sweet will tell you himself, In God We Trust album, it's just too sweet. The production is just like so polished, like a lot of albums were in the late 80s. And it sort of did. This needs a rehash, this album. If any album needs to be re-recorded, this is probably it. It's just going totally for the sweetness sort of sound. And it was sort of like they tried to replicate To Hell with the Devil, the success they had on To Hell with the Devil, and there's almost a replica track for each track on To Hell with the Devil. They tried to.
Really? Is it that close?
Yeah, and Michael Sweet's voice is just so high on this album, and he was actually saying that I thought it was played about with in the studio. It just sounds ridiculously high, almost like helium balloon high. And he was saying that he was really ill before that, and he got really ill. He had pneumonia, and he had to change his vocal style, and they retracked, and his voice is just ridiculous on this album. Not in a bad way, just so high. But this is, without doubt, I think one of the strongest tracks on the album. This could have been off one of the stronger albums. It's The Writings on the Wall from In God We Trust. A real heavy song, guitar heavy, but the heaviness taken away still. That's why it needs a revamp, without a doubt, this song. It's a great track, The Writings on the Wall. They may have actually redone this because they did a couple of, when they started getting back to their sound that they have now, because they had a bit of, during the 90s and 2000s, they had a bit of a, grungy type, not totally grungy, but they had elements of that Creed sort of stuff as well going on. And they did some revamps of some songs that they way back. I'm not sure if The Writings on the Wall was one of them, but it definitely, it's definitely, that's the only bad thing about this song is the production itself, but it's still a great song. Where you had some, in the early 80s, you had some murky production, and in the late 80s, it was too clear.
So trebly, it was just like
Trebly.
up here all the time.
yeah, and yeah, but a great song. The Writings on the Wall is one of the outstanding songs on that album, without a doubt. That's my track 5.
Cool.
Okay, track 6.
Track 6. Right, it's time to get a bit heavier now for the next few tracks. We're going to Anthrax from State of Euphoria, their 4th album. Great picture on the back as well, cartoon. And it's a song, Now It's Dark. This song is one of the underrated tracks on this album. It was, I remember when we obviously I was about 14, and my brother and his friends and all that, they loved this song because, don't forget, there wasn't much swearing on records back in them days until Guns N' Roses come out. It wasn't really, there was the odd word here and there, but this one had some swearing in it, so it was always a favourite with us young people. But Now It's Dark is a brilliant song, very tuneful, and I was lucky enough, when I mentioned this before, when they played it download, I think that might have even been the last download. It was well, I guess it was 88, so it must have been 2018. They played, it was an anniversary of Stadium 4, and they actually played this live, which I don't think they actually did when they did the tour of this album. So that was quite interesting. So they've obviously rediscovered the song as well. So if you haven't heard it, it's a very, say, underrated song on this album. Now It's Dark, because everyone knows, can I mention the other one? Everyone knows Antisocial, of course, and Make Me Laugh and things like that, Be All End All. But this is a great song too. Very melodic. You like this one. So good.
Cool. I like a bit of that.
You can put it on your playlist.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah. I do like a bit of Anthrax. So I like the beginning and the end. That middle part. Even like, I like one of the John Bush albums as well. The one where Keanu Reeves was in the video. What one was that? Remember that?
Well, the first album was
Safe Home. The
Sound of White Noise.
You have always been my safe home.
Yeah, did you know Keanu Reeves was in that video?
Huh.
Is that the one that's the takeoff of the Twilight Zone episode on the airplane?
Could be.
He's just walking along the road.
Oh, right, okay.
It's done very cheaply. It's just Keanu Reeves walking, and it's the song's amazing. Yeah, so check that video. Put it on your video list.
I'll put it on my video list.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Great choice.
Okay, I'm going a bit heavier as well. This is definitely in my top 3 tracks of this band. A lot of people don't really like this album, but I quite do. But this song is so strong. It's Megadeth, In My Darkest Hour, from So Far So Good. So What? There's the album. Yeah, I think you're living up to the comment from last one. Is that they think Jam has every.
He's living up to the Mark Glower. He's living up to the Mark Glower.
I think he is.
Yeah, he is definitely. Yeah.
The thing is, after about 89, 90, I haven't got any at all. So that's it.
Okay. This song, I don't know if it's one of their lesser known songs. You don't really hear them play it live much anymore. But man, this is the song for somebody who doesn't really like Megadeth to hear, because it's a bit slower, bit more palatable than the really, thrash stuff from the first few albums. But man, it's just an emotional track. It's really good. Do either one of you know In My Darkest Hour?
No, this is one of my favorite Megadeth songs. I really wanted to put this on. I love this song. It's my favorite Megadeth album, in fact. Okay. Yeah. So I've gone for another song, but I was going to have this song, so it was on my honourable mention list. But I absolutely love this album. Apart from, no one's going to have it, but Anarchy in the UK, which can sod off. The rest of the album's good.
Yeah, no one needs to cover that, especially Megadeth and Motley Crue nearly within.
Especially when you're American. Years. When you're American, no offense, you can't sing Anarchy in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. Dumb Americans. Anyway, yes, Megadeth, In My Darkest Hour, just a fantastic song. Between that and Wake Up Dead, those are probably my 2 favorite Megadeth songs.
It just builds up, doesn't it? Then it's got a great. It's just
it brilliant. Does, yeah. It's just got everything you'd want. Yeah, I guess it's kind of their version of One, maybe. But
yeah.
But man, what a track!
Actually, released before that. It was released in January, apparently. So there you go.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Great choice, guys. Right, I'm going for the Mighty Maiden for my next choice. I'm sure you're going to pull the album out for me, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So, probably one of the more obscure tracks on the album, even though you could, I suppose, couldn't say any of them are obscure, but The Prophecy, always been one of my favourites off of that album. I love the little intro, the little clean guitar intro, and then that great riff that it sort of sounds almost Metallica-ish, sort of that sort of, when it breaks, then it breaks into the usual gallop of Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
definitely not, definitely not one of my favourite albums from them. Definitely not, and I know it appears again like a lot of fans lists at the top. I mean, I saw a poll the other day and it came top, and I'm just like, it just must be all about how old you are. It's got to be, because because Peace of Mind and Power Slave just kicked that one into the fucking up the arse. Anyway, it's just about when you got into Maiden, and there must be a lot of Maiden fans that got into them at that time. The trouble is, this was brought out, and it's a concept album the same year as, like, you know, the one we've already spoken about, Queensryche. And that kicked its ass, in my opinion, as well, you know, completely. The funny thing about Maiden, and they were saying, I don't know if every one of those, there was an interview with Steve Harris a couple of years ago talking about this album. Are all them songs in the concept of the actual, because I think they were saying that they don't like concept albums, or if they do write a concept album, it's like they just put any song in there because they just, that I think maybe, what's the single off of that?
Can I play with madness?
I'm not sure if it's that one. They said there's something about a song on there that ain't actually anything to do with the concept. They just wrote a song and said, let's put it on the album because that's what they fucking...
I mean, look at the song titles. They all seem like they're in a concept to me. I mean...
Yeah.
But who knows?
But I mean, I think that's why, because they, you know, you've got to have a lot of patience. You've got the concept of the album's actually been a bit slagged off, you know, within the press, saying it's a bit loose, doesn't really make sense. I don't think Maiden really give a fuck about that. They just, you know, but there you go. No. So, I mean, it's
a loose concept. It's a loose concept one. It's not got bits like Operation Mindcrime joining all the songs or the music from the Elder or stuff like that. There's no recurring themes. It's only a loose story, isn't it? And all the songs that stand out on their own. Yeah.
Good versus evil, basically, in it, and the battle of that, really. But that's definitely one of my favourites off of. And I do like the album as well, and I've actually liked the album more. As
sounds like you love it.
No. As I've got older, I've actually appreciated it a lot more. But when you've been, you know, when you're 14, 15 and you're listening to Maiden, and, you know, you get in Where Eagles Dare and Number of the Beast and all that, and you're growing up in school listening to it, and it's like the most amazing thing ever. And God, they could do that on the guitar. Listen to that. It was mind blowing. And then when they get to like bring synthesizers in, when you're at a young age, you're thinking, what the fuck happened? You know, because you're a bit immature, you know, you're thinking, fucking synthesizers, Maiden. But of course, as you get older, you start to see the reason why. But I think this was the start of the downfall for me. And then going on to a couple of really shit albums next, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
Most people's opinion, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, that's my track 6. Iron Maiden. I love that song, by the way, just in case anyone was wondering. The Prophecy's brilliant. There you go. Okay, track 7.
Track 7, right. We go to possibly the last mention of this band. Maybe get something off the other one, but I've already slated the album off. So we're going Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2. Oh, some cool cartoons inside. I didn't like all of this, I must admit. I do like the album, but I thought it was got a bit too jokey. Can I mention it?
I'm totally with you on that. Totally with you on that.
Dr. Steen and stuff. I do like the song, but it all got a little bit too jokey. And I prefer the epic Halloween to the epic Keep the Seven Keys song. I'm sorry if someone's got that. But for me, March of Time is one of the outstanding tracks on it. It's a straightforward, rocking, heavy, fast, but very melodic song. Great chorus. That's it. And the good songs on this album are really good, and it's probably only a 7 out of 10 for me, whereas Keeper 1 was probably a 9 out of 10, I think. But March of Time is one of my favourite songs. I think I still play it live when I saw them the other year, and it's just brilliant.
The funny thing about this, I don't know if I think they wanted to release a double album, Keeper 1 and Keeper 2 at the same time. And then the record company went, no, you ain't fucking doing that. So like, it was like one year after the other. So I reckon that all these songs were written at the same time, but it definitely is totally different than that first album.
It is, yeah.
It doesn't sound like it was written at the same time, does it?
Rise and Fall, that's another jokey song, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
But it's got a great song after this, which I won't mention in case someone's got it as well. There's about 3 or 4 really, really good songs on here, and then some of them are not as quite as good.
Yeah, you're not a massive Halloween fan, are you, Dom? You quite like them, but not all of them.
Yeah, I'm not. I had what did I have off the Future World? I had in the last year. Definitely more of a singles. I have bought the last few records. I haven't heard the new one yet.
No, I've not.
But I have got the last few, and I do like them. But once again, sometimes with the power metal, it just goes a bit too
happy. Double
bass and stuff. It just goes a bit too wonky for me. As long as it's a bit more straight ahead, then I'm into it. You know.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, what you got then, Dom?
Okay, God, we're only halfway through. Jesus Christ. Number 7 is the start of my lifelong love for Winger. This is Time to Surrender from their first album. This is more of a heavier track, obviously. I did prefer the second side to the first side. The first side had all the singles, obviously, 17 and everything. Madeline and stuff, but the second side had a bit more edge to it. Time to Surrender is one of their heavier tracks from this album. Very good. I think we think they got a bit of a bad rap. I mean, I know they kind of brought it upon themselves. He definitely had the pinup photos and stuff, with him like dripping with sweat or whatever, and he does the little pirouettes in the videos. I understand that. But at some point you just got to get over it. And in 1988, and you had to do something to stand out in the crowd, and it certainly worked for them. But the musicianship that they have, Reb Beach, one of my favorite players of all time. Just love him, and I think he's really underrated as well, grand scheme of things. Kip's a great bass player, and Rod Morgenstern on drums is absolutely fantastic. So the first 2 albums were a bit more, bit more glammy, but I'm okay with it. So Time to Surrender, still do that live occasionally. Great song, great little heavy riff.
He was even on the front page of the newspaper. I don't know if you remember, a little while after, because his bird ran off with Rod Stewart.
Yeah, Rachel Henner. Yeah.
So
he had just written that song and dedicated it to her on the second album under one condition, and by the time the record came out, she had already took off.
Yeah, so
obviously didn't like the condition.
Yeah, exactly. But the great band. I got into them in the next album, which will probably appear in my 1990, I think that was. So yeah, great. I love Winger. Okay, next up, Vinnie Vincent's Invasion, and probably my favourite track off the album, That Time of Year, from All Systems Go. Man, this is just pure, catchy 80s arena rock. This is just amazing song. I don't think there's many songs that have beat this in that genre in the 80s, without a doubt. It's just pure, catchy stuff. I mean, I love that song. I love the first album better, but I think this could actually be my favourite Vinnie Vincent song altogether.
Really?
Yeah, it's just when I first heard this song, I just thought that is just pure, melodic hard rock at its best. If you want a catchy song, there you go. That's it. That just sums up the 80s for me. So That Time of Year, amazing.
Cool.
There you go.
It's not really a Christmas song, but I like to think of it as one.
Yeah.
There's not too many rock Christmas songs, but that one, isn't it snowing in the video as well?
Yeah. Oh, he's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's where Mark Salter came into the band, wasn't it? Second vocalist.
Yeah. Yes.
And then he basically took the fame from that and then made himself even bigger with the Slaughter band.
Actually,
Yeah.
we should do that. We should do a rock Christmas show, shouldn't we? When we get there, we'll probably still be doing this, so we can probably perhaps do a top 10 rock Christmas songs or something. That'd be interesting.
Fucking hell, I wouldn't know where to fucking start, but yeah.
There's a few out there. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. I might have to go to my Christian fan base for that.
Wow, yeah.
Okay. We're on to track 8. And by the way, we've got 12 today, guys. The
Yes.
people watching, just to let you know. Okay, track
Yeah, we
8.
better speed up a bit, haven't we? Right. We've already talked about this, so I'll be a bit quicker. But it's Megadeth, obviously. There's 2 songs I wanted from this album. One is the one that Dom had, and this is the other one. And obviously, where it falls for you. And it's Hook in Mouth, which is a great song
that's
about.
the other great one. Yeah.
It's all about censorship and the PMRC, and the chorus is brilliant. It goes F for this, R, and it spells out freedom, and it's a great song. Towards the obviously the last track. Yeah, last track on the album. So there you go. Hook in Mouth. All about PMRC, which are big at this point, of course, getting stickers on everyone and banning everything, burning stuff, and trials and all this sort of stuff. So it was a big fuck you to them. So, great song. Put it on.
Yeah, that's a burner as well. That's a great tune.
My list, I'll put it on my list yet, don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. What you got, Dom?
Okay. Where am I? Oh, Halloween. I want out.
That's what I was going to mention.
My life away. Again.
Well, they didn't mention it.
Yeah. I wasn't looking at my list, and I thought when you said Halloween, I was like, shit, he's gonna have it. Just a great single from them. Very catchy.
Yeah.
Probably the first thing I ever heard of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I still love it. So
yeah,
there you go.
Cool.
That's great. Okay. Well, I've got the same. Yeah.
Wow.
I want out. Yeah. And you're
Great
right.
song.
Totally great. Yeah. A brilliant song. Bit of a shitty video because I watched it again the other day, but who gives a shit about that? But yeah, it's one of them. It's a bit like Future World, isn't it? It's the Future World of the second album, really, of the 2 album. But yeah, absolutely brilliant track, really catchy, a staple of their show, I think, to this day. Like, you know,
I'm sure, yeah.
I think I saw them do it on video, like on the Pumpkins tour. So yeah, I want out. What a great track. Well done. Good choice. Good choice.
Good choice. Yeah.
Hey, high five. High five.
Okay. Number 9. Number 9. What you got then, guys? Number 9.
Right, number 9, and this is coming out of left field, and it is literally a field. It's the Fields of Nephilim, and it's from the Nephilim album. I presume they're British. I don't know much about them actually. I love this album. Very, very a bit gothic. Obviously, the gothic type band, but they're very brooding and it's great. I love the vocals from the singer. I don't know his name, but
Carl McCoy.
That's it. Well, yeah, brilliant. They've done this is their second album. I think Dawn Rays was the first album, and they've done some new stuff, and they're just called Nephilim now or something, aren't they? They've sort of gone a bit funny. I don't know, but this is Last Exit for the Lost, which is the epic closing track from the album. It's 9 minutes long, and it just starts off with a lovely sort of guitar passage at the start, and just builds and broods, and just gets to a sort of a crescendo there. And obviously, it never gets very, very heavy, but it's just a great brooding song, as I say. It's I presume you know it then, Dom.
I know the band. This particular track, I can't say I'm hugely familiar with.
Good album.
But I do know the band, yeah.
No, so it's worth listening to, so you can put it on your lists, definitely. If you've got 9 minutes spare.
It's already on there, mate. I've just read it down.
Thought so.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. You were just keeping track of all the ones you're going to add to the playlist later. That's nice.
That's right, mate. Okay. What you got in, Dom?
Number 9 is a band I've spoken up before. This is their breakout album, their 4th album. Kicks with Blow My Fuse, title track from the album. They really exploded with this one, finally, after slogging it out for years. What a great band, great live band, still a great live band. This is a great track. Highly recommend if you don't know who Kicks are.
No, they
check
were.
Out.
Did you say this was their first album, or isn't? Is it?
This is their 4th album.
4th album. Fucking hell. See, I missed all them through all the way through them years. Like for some reason.
Well, I had a song of theirs from their second album on a couple years back.
Yeah.
And we had spoken about how they didn't really break until this one. Blow my fuse. But yeah, great album. So title track.
Cool.
That's cool. Okay. I'm going with Scorpions for my track 9 and Believe in Love from Savage Amusement. Now, Savage Amusement. What? I do believe in love. That's what makes the world go round, isn't it? Is it money? Is it money? I don't know. But a real underrated album, I think, Savage Amusement. Took a little bit of stick, maybe a bit too polished, people were saying, but I absolutely love this album. It was very close to Love at First Sting for me, which is renowned for being like the bestseller, one of the best Scorpions albums.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a great album. Perhaps the only thing I'd say, because I was listening to this album the other day, you know, when all the bands got into that snare drum sound, right, in the 80s, late 80s, it definitely had that whoosh, whoosh, so it didn't sound like a drum at all. It was like, I don't know. It was,
right.
But it was quite well sort of overly produced a little bit. But I think odd tracks off this album were just outstanding. Rhythm of Love being one of them, the single. I think it was track 2. Believe in Love is a brilliant ballad. Probably not quite on par with the ballads they've done in the past, but it had a sort of a chorus that would catch you unawares a little bit. It sort of grew on you as the time went by. So yeah, Scorpions, Believe in Love is my track 9. It's the closer of the actual album. Cool. See, fucking 12 tracks. Most of these albums had 8 or 9 still. Fucking hell.
Talk to Jam, man.
I'm only joking. It's more fun, being more difficult. Okay. It's what it's total frustration. That's what it's about, isn't it? It's not about it being easy, is it? There you go. No. Okay. Normally we'll be ending now on track 10, but not today. Track 10 for Jam. What you got, mate?
Track 10. Right. Going for one of the vinyl that is actually I bought recently, so it's not. I can't say I got it original, but what an album cover!
Yes,
it's going to be the first of many for. Well, that's in there. First of many from Danzig. I could have picked any song off this album. It's not my favourite album of Danzig. I won't mention my favourite, but any song in here is brilliant. And I sort of wanted. I wasn't going to put it in. I was just going to talk about it at the end, but I thought I will stick it in because it was his birthday on Wednesday and he was 66. So I'll mention Glenn. He's getting in my list. Not my favourite song, but this is like a cool AC/DC type riff at the start, and it's just a classic Danzig track. I say it's not the best album. There's Twist of Cain on here. She Rides, Mother, some great songs. Like the original version of Mother's on here. So it's a good album from Danzig. And Not As Blues is the second album. It's more sort of straightforward rock. But it's the first thing he did after doing Samhain and all that. So it's good, worth listening to. Straight ahead rock album. And Evil Thing is just one of the classic songs on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the whole. I think you're right. The whole album is really strong. So
yeah.
Okay. What you got, Dom, at track 10?
Track 10. What do I have? I have no idea. Track 10 is one of our favorite bands. Maybe not someone's favorite album, but I still think in the pantheon of the first 4, I still include this as a classic one. Rat, Reach for the Sky. This is the last track called What I'm After. I'm absolutely convinced if this song was picked as their 3rd single, it really could have done a lot more than it did. This is such a catchy, great song. I definitely like it better than, I Want a Woman or, whatever else they picked. Way Cool Jr. is a very strong song, so I can't really say that. But man, this is a single if I ever heard one. Great song, terrific chorus. Can't say enough about it, really. Love it.
Yeah, that period of Rat weren't the best for me, but that's just I just think at that point, even the album before, Dancing Undercover, I like it more now than I did back then, but I was slowly starting to go off of Rat a little bit at that point. I actually got back into them at a later time, a lot. One of their later albums, one of their very slagged off albums, which were mentioned in later on years. But that album just didn't do it for me for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But,
no, I mean, you are in the majority. Obviously, there. Everything they were doing was diminishing returns, which is too bad because Motley were just kind of getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Whereas for some reason, Rat by their fourth album just were kind of coming down.
And they were latecomers as well, weren't they? They was one of the last ones out of that the Sunset
really
Strip to get a deal.
First Sunset Strip group, yeah. I mean, of the first four, it's the weakest. I'll give you that. But it had enough on there for me to consider. Yeah. The first four Rat albums. I can say that the first four Rat albums are great. Especially the opener, City to City, man. One of my favorite.
Yeah, I like that song. The one you've mentioned already, which I actually don't like at all, which a lot of Rat fans love, is Way Cool Jr. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
I can see that you wouldn't like that.
Yeah, it's that bluesy type.
It's got like the horns and it's all kind of. Yeah,
it's not for me, that one. But
that is not Lee Spencer music.
Yeah, exactly. My track 10 is fucking excellent, by the way.
Oh, good.
Okay. I just thought I'd tell you that. Kingdom Come, Shout It Out. What an amazing song. Oh. I think this, along with Forever After, are my favourite two songs off of the Kingdom Come debut album. It's a fucking excellent album, by the way, start to finish. Absolutely brilliant. Production
another
is
one
massive.
That unfairly maligned, obviously. I mean, we don't have to go into all that, but
no. Yeah. The mix is huge on it. It sounds like a huge album, even now. A brilliant sounding album with it's just you could see the downfall. Like you said, you just mentioned it. They wasn't never going to be a long-lasting band from what they were, where they were going to. I don't think, with the Zeppelin thing. I just don't think it was ever going to happen for them. It was going to be a short thing, And without a doubt, after their second album, that was about it. I think for them, even though they was around all them years, they didn't do anything.
Well, he just took the name and did his own thing with it. Yeah. But as far as the Kingdom Come band. Yeah, exactly.
But what an excellent song. Shout It Out. And Kingdom Come's my number 10. And now we go on to track 11. What you got, Jack?
Okay, 11. This was very easy for me. It's another one of another foray for me into one of many into alternative metal, and it's from one of my favourite bands as well. It's Jane's Addiction, and it's from Nothing Shocking, and it's Pigs in Zen. The whole album is brilliant. Any song on this one just to happen. 11's easy to fit in, so it's the closing track on the album. I don't know if you like Jane's Addiction, any of you. I presume probably not, but they are very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike them, and I heard a lot of them with my peers at the time, so I'm very familiar with every song on this album.
They're really good.
But it's not anything I put on now,
I still think they stand up really well. I love the album. I like the one after, it's even better. It's got one of my favourite songs ever on the next album, which I'll put in my list, no doubt. But this album's great. But even my brother didn't like these at the time, but he loves them now after listening to them sort of retrospectively. And it's just, I think it's a great album. Pigs in Zen's a great song. It has a breakdown in the middle and a bit of talking. And I just think that I've seen them live a few times. They're really good live. So there we go. Jane's Addiction, Pigs in Zen.
Right. I haven't heard them, mate. I've heard bits of them, to tell you the truth. I've flicked through and heard bits.
I think they might surprise you.
Yeah. Maybe. I'll put them on my Jane's Addiction playlist.
Exactly, I'll do you one.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Okay.
You should call your playlist Jam's Addiction.
Jam's Addiction, there you
go. Good idea. How many albums they had out? About. Not putting you on the spot.
The first one's not really a proper album, so you call that one. Then Nothing Shocking, Ritual Habitual. Then they didn't do anything until they did that one. Strays, yeah. And then they did one afterwards, I think, haven't they? So I think they've done 5.
eight-legged something. Don't remember what
Yeah.
it is.
The only reason I'm asking, I'm going back to
Just
Kent.
because and all that.
I'm going back to Kent tomorrow, so I was thinking, you know, that I could maybe squeeze all their albums in twice, all the way there.
Yeah,
and back.
probably. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If I die, it'll be because I fell asleep.
Such a piss taker.
Really good.
Such a piss taker.
We have to take the piss out of each other. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Isn't it? That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, yes. Well,
Change
I
addiction
already
to
went
great.
on my grunge rant earlier, so I'm
Listen,
good for this episode. Yeah.
Listen, this is what
Okay,
you got.
so-
We harden ourselves up for it because you know what some of these people are like online. You can't say anything about anyone's band, can you? You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to say
Well, that's
anything.
what I like about the freedom of your channel and
Say whatever
when you
you
have
fucking
guests
like.
on,
Exactly.
is that you don't mind a bit of that. So
Exactly. Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Okay, so track 11 for me is from a band I really liked. I only had 2 albums. I'm going the opposite direction. These guys are glam. This is called Demolls. The band is called Demolls, which is D''MOLLS. 2 albums on Atlantic. The singer went on to be a rhythm guitar player for Roth on his Little Ain't Enough tour. Great album. The main single was called 777. There's a video that got played a bit in the States. But yeah, terrific. Demolls. And this song is called Action, ACTION, if you want to be, if you want the full song title, because they do say, say, but it's very power pop. It's very glam. Loved it when it came out. Second album is good as well, but not quite as good as this one.
I think I remember the band around, but I don't think I ever listened to them. But I remember the name when you're saying it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very striking cover. It had like ladies' dancing legs, and it was like white alternated with black. It's a really cool cover. Anyway, there you go. Demolls, ACTION.
Okay, great. Well, this is where I got a bit fucked up on this. So Jam decided to do 12 tracks, which is cool. We are getting to that point where there's a lot of bands bringing out more than 10. But I've had to go with something. Now, I can't say this is killer and I can't say it's filler either. It's sort of in between. I did have this album, but again, I was going off of this band at this point. So I was trying to find a track 11 and I was panicking doing this yesterday. Like I always leave everything last minute, obviously. And the only one I could come up with, and it's a bit throwaway, but it's still okay because of the great guitar work. I'm just trying to convince myself here. I don't know, but I've gone for Bon Jovi. And
yeah, I'll be there for you.
99 in the Shade from New Jersey.
That's a good song, actually.
Yeah, like you know what? I haven't heard New Jersey probably since fucking 1988. You know. So I was.
Wow, you are really struggling.
Yeah, so I was going through a lot of these albums that I liked didn't have tracks 11. So I was going through the ones that, you know, I was reaching a bit, and then I got to this one, played it, thought it sounded really fun. There's some great guitar work from Richie Sambora because he was a great guitarist, obviously. Very busy, isn't he? He's all very busy. He's not one of these just chord progressions. He's fucking fiddling around all the time. And I thought it was great guitar work. And, you know, someone was commented under this song on YouTube, and they were probably right. This was an album full of hits. Any song of this could have been a hit, you know, and this being one of them. I don't think it was a single, but it easily could have been a single if it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's probably that was my difficult part of this list. Track 11 was my difficult part for sure. But
apart from number 8.
Well, I'm going to tell you about that after the show because it got even more difficult while I was actually doing the show, but I'll tell you about that afterwards.
I saw you scrambling around, yeah.
I'll tell you about that in a minute.
I'm like, what I just said it was Kick's 4th album, and then he just said, what, is it their first album? You're not even listening. What the hell's going on?
I fucked up completely. But basically, when you mentioned I Want Out, I had that track, a different track number, and then I really panicked and then had to find... That's when I ended up with the Scorpions' Last Thing.
Oh,
but,
right.
But luckiest thing is, I love that Scorpion song, so it actually worked out all right. When you said track 8, I Want Out, I looked down and I had track 9, I Want Out. I was like, oh my fucking God.
Am I right? Or are you right?
Oh, I think you're right. I just wrote it in the wrong place. Oh no,
I don't know. Jam's going to tell us. And maybe
no, don't, because I've got a way of it. Don't fucking do it.
8.
Oh, good.
8.
Good.
8, okay.
Anyway, so I got away with it, but that's why I was scrambling about panicking and not really listening to what you were saying. All right.
None of us are perfect.
I was trying to stall you. I was trying to stall you to make you keep talking.
The last thing we need on this video is more talking.
Yes, exactly. Well, we're up to track 12 now anyway.
We're up to track
Let's
12.
do it.
The last track on the playlist of 1988. Jam, what you got?
I think me and you will have the same one, because I don't think you've had him yet, and that's Queen's Right from Operation Mindcrime, and it's I Don't Believe in Love. This is my favourite song on the album anyway, so as soon as I thought, I wouldn't mind that one, looked at track 12.
Well, that's nice.
So yeah, I Don't Believe in Love, great song and a great album. Definitely my favourite song for me. I know it's a bit commercial and it's probably one of the singles, but I like it. It's still heavy, it's not a ballad, you know. People don't know it.
Yeah.
Good song.
Great song. Yeah. Where you got?
Yeah. I have this album is huge for me at the time. I'll admit it's not really one that I go back and listen to all the time. I think I listened to it earlier this year, so maybe a couple of times a year. But Zodiac Mind Warp and the Love Reaction.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, from their album Tattooed Beat Messiah.
Yeah.
This song is called Spasm Gang. It wasn't a single or anything, but it's one of their catchier songs. I did luck out because this album is one of those that had a ton of little 1 minute dumb shit in between the real songs. So by the time I got to 12, it's actually, I think, track number 8 on the album. But, so Zodiac, I thought he was super cool when he came out. His career went nowhere, but for a while, for about a 6-month period, he was kind of in the zeitgeist, and I was really into that kind of cult electric, Zodiac Mind Warp, that kind of biker looking metal kind of thing. I loved it. So there you go, Zodiac Mind Warp, Blast from the Past.
I was a bit like you, mate. I got right into that album, and then it quickly came and went for me too.
Yeah.
I was really into it like you was. And yeah, Jam, you're right. I Don't Believe in Love was my track 12. Sort of, thank God for the concept album with all those little bits, because I would have been fucked here if it weren't for that album. I mean, there's about 15 songs on the album, I think, in total.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, I Don't Believe in Love. I mean, to tell you the truth, even if one of those snippets fell in at that stage, I love that whole album, and I would have used one of them. I just think the album's perfect in general. It's funny that we was talking earlier on about how catchy some of them songs were, even though it's a concept. I always think of Breaking the Silence and this one, which are together. They're separate from me for some reason. They're the two singles, or I think Breaking the Silence might have been a single, I'm not sure, but they are like the poppier songs of the album, both together at that stage. And you know what, they always for some reason seem separate, even though I know they fit in perfectly to the concept. The sound of those songs is totally different, I think, on that album.
Yeah, and they saved them towards the end as well, which is
exactly
nice closers.
Yeah. So yeah, I Don't Believe in Love, Queen's Right. So
cool.
Yeah, we're done, guys. Thank you very much.
Cool.
It wasn't that bad, hour and a half nearly.
Yeah.
We've
got some honourables to do, yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah. if we can
can't
make them,
wait to get out of the screen.
no,
Man.
no. If we can make the honourables quite quick though, guys, that'd be cool.
Try. Right, track 1, Heat Seeker, AC/DC from Blow Up Your Video. Love that song. Lay Your Hands on Me, Bon Jovi from New Jersey I had. Ram It Down, first opening from Ram It Down from Judas Priest. Days of No Trust I had from Magnum as well. That's a good song. Stigmata, Ministry. That's starting to get a bit industrial. Rising Force from Ingui. Ride Out the Window I had, Saxon. Great song. And then Kiss did a compilation album, Smashes, Thrashes and Hits, and the first song was a new song, Let's Put the X in Sex. I quite like that one. Track 2, I had Zodiac Mind Warp, actually, with Prime Mover. I nearly had that in my list, but I changed it in the end. That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll, AC/DC. Nothing But a Good Time, Poison, from Open Up and Say Ah. Number 2, When It's Love from OU812 Van Halen. Track 4, I had Antisocial, Anthrax. 5, Blood on Blood from New Jersey. Good song, like that one. Dr. Steen, I do like it, but got that. Speak to Me from Queensryche. In My Darkest Hour from 6. Fallen Angel from Poison. 7. Demon Alcohol from Ozzy. I Want Out. And then, controversially, not going to talk about it, 1 in a Million from GNR Lies. Love the song, not talking about lyrics. Keeping the 7 Keys, the actual title track I had for 9. And then quickly, I just want to say Slayer, South of Heaven album. No one's got anything off that. I wanted to put something on it, but just didn't have room. Obviously, title track, Silent Scream, Distant Aggressor. And then these two of my favourite albums of the year, but I talked about them and I knew they'd be included, so I could have put any songs off either album on here or any track. So I won't talk about them anymore. There you go.
Very well, mate. Thank you very much.
Very cool. Yeah, I just have a couple albums that I couldn't fit in. Ozzy, No Rest for the Wicked. I had that down. Would have liked Crazy Babies or one of those other tracks. First Danzig, I also had on mine. Again, just about every track, but I just couldn't fit it in. Great song by Hurricane called I'm On To You. But na 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 na.
I've missed you singing this week, mate. I'm fucking glad you got a little bit in there.
Well, there just hasn't been time from all the yapping. First LA Guns album came out. That was a big album for me at the time. And a great band that I love, many in the AC/DC inspired genre, called Dirty Looks, who had some success in America. This was their major label debut called Cool from the Wire. Excellent album. Hopefully I'll get something else from them in the next few years. Terrific band. Probably my favorite of those that you're like, oh, this sounds like Bon Scott. There's quite a few of those, but great band. Dirty Looks. And that's it.
Cool. There wasn't really anything that I would have preferred on the list, apart from I wanted to have one song on, but it basically was it was about track 15 or something like that, because it was like a double album. Or I don't know if it was a double, but there was a lot of songs. It was the Dokken album, which was a live album, but it had a great single.
Just Walk Away.
Yes, what a great song. So that was like track 15 or 16 or something. So like that's one of the first things I looked at, because as soon as I was looking through the albums, Beast from the East, Walk Away, fucking getting all excited. Wikipedia track fucking 16 or something stupid. I was like,
I don't think we'll ever get up to 16.
I'm glad you didn't say 16, because I'd have been fucked on the other 15.
Well, that's why we have the honorable mentions. We can fit these weird ones in.
Yeah. So
I just gotta say, Walk Away is not only a great song, but it's such a great band breakup song, because it was like, they had already kind of broken up by that, or people knew it was kind of over, and it was just such a
yeah, it has got a real melancholy sound to it, especially when Don Dokken reaches in that chorus. I tried to say I'm sorry, that bit is just
yeah, he's saying sorry to George Lynch for being such a jerk.
And you know what, if you actually look at any of the Dokken interviews over time, the Don Dokken ones and the George Lynch ones, George Lynch is just forever fucking stabbing him. Forever, like giving him a bit of grief. And Don Dokken, most of the time, is like, it is what it is. It happens.
Yeah.
And George Lynch is very personal. He's fucking, he doesn't give a fuck, you know what I mean? And it's a shame. He's going to be, his next interview is like, Don, his voice is fucking awful now. That's what he's going to be saying next, isn't it? Once he has a little when he has a little argument with him again. You know what I mean? So,
God bless them. It would be boring if they all loved each other.
Oh, yeah. There he goes, mate. There he goes in the rock business. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me again. Obviously, we're going to be doing 89 sometime next week. We'll sort that out. Looking forward to it. I suppose we're going to go for 12 tracks again, but we'll let Jam decide on that offline. All right, guys?
All right.
Right.
Cheers.
See you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.